everybody, and welcome to another episode of Growing Up Geek, the weekly podcast for geek entertainment and nostalgia. My name is Brad, and I am joined, as always, by my brother Matt.
Hello.
And my brother Rob.
Greetings.
This week marks the 20th episode of Growing Up Geek, and so we're going to do things a little differently to commemorate. We've decided to take the news segment that we normally do at the beginning and stretch it into a full newsarama. So we will each be bringing multiple news stories, and we will start this round table off proper with Matt.
The latest polling of scientists from the various fields of theoretical physics suggests that, once again, you can't travel back in time. Some are saying that if you got enough energy in some kind of super futuristic civilization, you could maybe build a craft to allow you to travel millions of years into the future, but you cannot go back. Salmon can swim upstream, but in the stream of time...
I like what I'm hearing. I'm looking forward to where this is ending.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Come on.
Yeah. Don't let us down here, Matt.
Yeah.
Salmon can go back in time.
Coming this summer.
We're stuck on a fish farm.
Oh,
that's all I can
That really
say.
started to sound like the best tagline to a movie ever, actually, I think.
right.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I
I've always thought time travel was bogus because I don't think of time as a thing that we can physically ever access. I think of it as just a manner of speaking about change.
Yeah, a measurement,
Right,
if you will.
right,
yeah.
a measurement of changing life, and I don't think it exists to go back to, but it comes up all the time, and there are people actually somewhere walking into flagpoles thinking about this stuff.
It's always only now.
When
There are
will
some,
then be now?
soon. There are some hippies out there that definitely feel that you can perceptually time travel. I seem to recall some kind of PBS documentary with a guy with like a huge chart and an enormous device that he points at his brain.
I love it.
and I'm sure he believes he goes somewhere, but
Well, he does go somewhere.
He definitely
and it
does.
has walls and bars.
And
Perceptual time travel, isn't that just where you change what you remember by diluting yourself?
is best explained by LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea.
Deepest, bluest, his hand is like a shark's fin.
Is that what he says in that song? I could never tell. It sounded like his head is like a shark's hat or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Deepest, bluest, my face is like a shark hat.
That's it.
I think it's a fin.
Okay, I've ruined it. I've ruined
we'll
it.
Google that later.
LL Cool J's. We just lost him as a listener.
Ladies love Cool James. Rob?
Yes. So, I mean, while we're on the topic of time travel and all the great kind of entertainment that begets Terminator 4 or Terminator Salvation.
Yes, I've heard that the future begins in that movie.
The future does begin in that movie, which is, that's an exciting time.
You dropped this bomb on us a few weeks ago, and it sparked some interesting conversation. What's the latest there?
It turns out that Moon Bloodgood is joining.
Is this guy related to Uwe Boll?
This is actually a lady.
This is a lady. Clearly given a good, wholesome Christian name by her parents.
Yes, this Terminator movie is about getting beaten up severely on the playground, I guess.
Do we know what Moon Bloodgood God is going to be playing?
Okay, well, yes,
favorite
we
James
do.
Brown
As a
song.
matter of fact, this woman is going to be cast as a no-nonsense and battle-hardened member of the Resistance. Because every action movie I see, it's all nonsense. And so it's good to finally have a no-nonsense character. She has a few movies under her belt, like Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is she Chun-Li?
Doesn't say.
Did you know they were making that, Matt?
I had no idea.
The second crack at Street Fighter live action.
Wow. Holy goodness.
Hopefully the soundtrack is as good as the first one, which I purchased mistakenly years ago.
What, guillotine kick or something like that?
Yeah, there was a lot of hip-hop on there with extremely awesome lyrics. I'll just put it that way.
I mean, I'm getting sick of these movies coming out based on like these 1980s franchises that I loved as a kid and grew up with, and they're now just milking this thing to death.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because this week Sigourney Weaver had comments in an interview about letting Ripley rest. And Ripley's her character from the Alien franchise. You guys saw Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, I think is the title, right?
How would you call that, Matt?
What's that blender that blends anything? Does it blend? If you were to take all of the movies and just shove them in there, that's what you get.
Well, I think that Requiem is the perfect name for it, because the thing should die. I mean... Just stop already. It's getting too far, and it's just getting raped. Ugh.
Oh, that's a harsh word, but there's truth to it.
It was actually kind of sad hearing her because, excuse me, it's throwing up Geek.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
But yeah, it's unfortunately the Alien franchise has been driven so far into the ground by Fox that she's not willing to get back in there and try it.
Well, they at some point 20 years down the line they may just recast her, or they may do it now, who knows. They'll do like the Chronicles of Young Ripley. Yeah.
So some big news that caught my interest this week was actually the new Mortal Kombat game, which is going to be Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe.
Wow.
The picture basically shows Sub-Zero facing Batman. So what I have to ask you guys about this is two great properties here. Do they go together like peanut butter and jelly?
We're in the generation of mashups, and I think the context no longer matters for a lot of these kind of crossover projects. And I don't know, as long as they've preserved the fatalities and all that, then
I suppose I should elaborate is that there won't be the level of gore in this one that they've had before, and it's because of the DC characters. For example, Superman, you can't imagine him decapitating someone. It just goes against what he stands for.
No, they should just hover some kryptonite over him when he's lost all of his energy, and then it makes contextual sense.
Right, there you go. But of course, he would never...
Superman himself would never allow himself to be fatality.
I mean, do we really think that Kano stands a chance against Superman, logically?
Hey, I like Kano.
Yeah, but...
Hello, baby.
Oh, gosh. This reminds...
He actually died, that actor. Sorry, I'm
No, that's all right. This reminds me a little bit of Gran Turismo, which was, great race car simulation, but because of the licensing, they weren't allowed to show damage on cars. And I don't know if Mortal Kombat really ever had a fun fighting system. For me, at least, you had to have the fatality, or at least the possibility of it. Well, because...
Yeah, that's really the hook of the series. So are they just neutering both series? I mean, essentially, think about this. A Superman who gets beaten up, and a Sub-Zero who doesn't tear heads off.
The typical convergence problem, to me. I mean, this could be awesome. I don't know, but...
It's got to have fatalities. That's all I'm saying. Really quickly, I forgot to mention this story that apparently Forbes.com has confirmed through through an Apple spokesman that Apple is buying a boutique microprocessor design company called PA Semi, and this means that most likely their future generations of iPhone and probably iPod the hardware is going to be something that Apple has designed exclusively for their products. This would be like a blow to Intel, who has just made announcements about their lineup of low-power, tiny processors that they're calling Atom, and that's what Intel's trying to do to push their way into the cell phone and the tiny mobile device market. So it looks like Apple, at least for now, they're obviously in their laptops and stuff. They're still going to use Intel, but their little devices, they're going to be able to be even more secretive about what their hardware capabilities are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of interesting because, I mean, you look at Apple, that's always been their strategy, is to have complete control over everything that they put in their system, and they're now the new Apple ad is addressing that directly. Is like, look, PCs are made from a bunch of different companies and a bunch of different parts, and Apples are all made by the same guys. I mean, to me, that's like free market capitalism and communism, but hey, apparently it works for computers.
Right, and someday, if Apple's large enough, maybe they'll get to be called a monopoly too.
This is some simple news. PlayStation Home gets pushed back again. Basically, this is a kind of Second Life avatar-based online service that's going to be built into the PlayStation 3. So it's pretty ambitious and highly anticipated, but it was scheduled to be released second quarter 2008. And now the open beta has still yet to hit and has been pushed back to fall 2008. So we're looking at this thing not even coming out till 2009.
Yeah, you mentioned that you ranted to your friends about this whenever they were asking you about it. What caused your rant there?
Okay, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of having like a in-console sort of virtual world that you can share with your friends and roam around and play games and build your own house. That all sounds awesome. But what I am just, kind of gagging at whenever I look at this thing is the aesthetic. I mean, people just walking around in trendy clothes. And
So are you saying you just think it's boring? I mean...
Well, okay, the problem is that I played EverQuest 2.
Oh, now it comes out.
Oh,
the scars run deep. Yes, to the audience I have to say, Rob beta tested both EverQuest and World of Warcraft and told me directly that EverQuest was the superior one. Mm-hmm. And we both watched as the ratings began to pour in when the games were reviewed and released. And World of Warcraft consistently got awards and high scores and eventually won Game of the Year awards. And Rob finally caved and was like, all right, I have to get it.
EverQuest 2 was a really graphically impressive game.
Yeah.
But in the end, everybody kind of looked just so bland. And basically everybody just kind of looked like zombies walking around.
Corpseified, yeah.
And it wasn't fun, it wasn't expressive. And now, look at the other end of the spectrum, you have World of Warcraft, where everything is really kind of cartoony. You have really exaggerated features like hands and mustaches. And
right, it wasn't realistic and it knew it. Right.
And so, I mean, that's just my beef, is that, like, if you look at something like the way people love their Miis on Nintendo Wii,
right,
and those things are just, faces, but... I have a feeling that people are going to play around with this, but it's just not going to be as evocative. It's just going to be a tool. Really.
Time will tell, I think.
Okay, so to wrap things up this week, I have the last story here, and mine is some cool news on the Geek movie front, and that is the X-Files 2, which was just recently titled "I Want to Believe," the subtitle of the movie, and the poster that was always on Mulder's wall if you watched that television show. It's been 10 years since the last X-Files movie, and they are surprisingly getting into another one. They're actually filming, and there was some interviews and some set visits recently that caught my eye in the news. Chris Carter, who created the X-Files, has said that this one is going to be a lot more of a monster of the week, if you will, which X-Files fans will recognize as the one of two types of episodes that the X-Files had. There was the mythology, which dealt with the main storyline of Mulder and his sister, and that people would say that was fairly wrapped up. This one will be much more of a monster of the week, where there's like dog men, or something like that. So I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to it, and these people have not played these characters in a while.
Yeah.
So David Duchovny left X-Files long before it ended, and he jumped off that sinking ship. But Gillian Anderson as well said that she had to actually ask the director, am I doing this the way that Scully would? And but she quickly got back into it, and so I'm looking forward to seeing this. This kind of comes out of nowhere for me. What do you guys think?
X-Files fell apart after you broke up the team, which was, it was like straight guy, funny guy stuff. The chemistry between Mulder and Scully was a major part of what X-Files was, and the fact that they even always kept them romantically at a distance, all that. It's going to be awesome to see. Even, Mulder's character, the way David Duchovny did him, this always like kind of biting wit, cynical, sarcastic, but a sharp character. Right. I'm really looking forward to see. It's weird. This is the first time I've heard it's going to be a monster of the week instead of a mythology, and I guess I was picturing that they're going to do attempt another kind of closure on the whole overarching myth of the story, and we're going to come back to Mulder 10 years down the road or whatever. But I'm sure it'll be a little bit of both.
Right. They have a child together, supposedly, from what I read. And
there was a baby.
This will explore more of that.
Wait a minute. They actually hooked up? No. When did this happen? I watched the last episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know, I recall it now, because, like, Mulder's in the shower and there's a baby or something like that. Yeah. Because that's how babies are made.
Well, we haven't told him. We haven't told him the truth yet. Excuse him.
Yeah, you get into the shower
and boom, that's it.
I mean, maybe even a few people don't even remember what the X-Files was, and to have a movie come out and be kind of reintroducing those characters to to fresh eyes. That's kind of exciting, I'll admit. You would think that they would want to, like, in this movie we wrap everything up.
Right.
Well, I guess Chris Carter's just admitting that, well, they've basically wrapped everything up to death.
Well, I think he's positioning this
So
he would love to see more movies. I think he'd like to keep it going. Maybe
Yeah, like a franchise.
as that kind of
big budget franchise now, where you only do the...
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I don't know, like, but the title leads me to believe that it would be like a kind of legend episode.
And that's kind of what I want, but who knows? Either way, it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, and I think it's good that we do end on a positive note. Obviously, it's easy to be a cynic when it comes to things like, the movie.
All your heroes let you down.
We're excited about this, and there's a lot of exciting things in store.
We certainly want to believe that it'll be good.
Very well said. If you are listening and you are excited about any of these projects, or cynical about these projects, or whatever you have to say about these projects, you may email us. Our email address is mail@growing-up-geek.com. We didn't cover nostalgia this week, but if you have any geek nostalgia, send it to us. Let us know how you grew up geek, and we will read it, and if we like it, we'll share it. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this week. Once again, my name is Brad.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Rob.
And we'll see you next week.
Mwah.